Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we are creating this makeup look that I kind of love. This video really started out with me wanting to share a palette that I have been loving lately, and it's a palette that needs to be shared because it's a palette that you probably walk by 100 times and don't even take a second look. It's from Charlotte Tilbury. It's one of her quads. It's the Sophisticate palette. Now you guys, I know this doesn't look like anything special, but I might say that this is one of my favorite discoveries of the year. I'm not even kidding. Watch the video, you will see why. So I'm gonna create a look using this. I've been using this nonstop since I picked it up a few weeks ago. And then I also wanted to show how you can take a basic kind of everyday look and bump it up with a fun party shadow. Let's call it a party shadow. And so I picked up one of the new Charlotte Tilbury Hypnotizing Pop Shots in the shade Smoky Quartz. So we add this at the end to create that really beautiful shimmer that you see there. So this is just a really great classic, sophisticated holiday look, holiday makeup. I'm playing with some new products. I'm pulling out some old favorites. All of these products can be purchased and are available at Nordstrom. Nordstrom is one of my favorite retailers to shop because of their customer service and also because it's a beauty destination, apparel, gifts, kids, all the things. I am so honored to partner with Nordstrom and work with them on a monthly basis. So I will have all the products that I use listed and linked in the description box for you. And let's go ahead and get started with the tutorial. So first we're gonna get started with foundation, and today I'm actually gonna be mixing two products together that I really enjoy, but it's been quite a while since I used. We're gonna be mixing the Hollywood Flawless Filter in the shade 3 with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in the shade 5.9. I'm just gonna mix these on the back of my hand together. The Flawless Filter is a really beautiful product and it can be used in so many ways. You can mix it with foundation like I'm doing now. You can put it on your skin underneath foundation. You can layer it on top of your foundation. I mean, really, you figure out how you like to use it and go for it. So I just am gonna mix the two together and apply it to the skin. Now the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, as you guys know, is such a popular foundation. And I think the reason for that being is because it really gives a natural, radiant finish to the skin. It doesn't look heavy, but it does a great job of evening out and covering. It just makes your skin look naturally flawless. Like it covers everything and everything looks perfect, but it doesn't look like heavy makeup. It also has a great longevity. So if you are someone that has oily skin or you live in a humid or hot climate, this is a radiant finish foundation that you can count on. You just can't go wrong with it. Honestly, you just cannot go wrong with it. Adding the Flawless Filter to it is going to give it a slight bit more radiance, a little bit more glow. I think as we get into the colder, drier months in the winter, I'm always like slightly adding a little bit more radiance to my skin because it's easy for my skin to get dry or to look dry or dehydrated. This is the perfect shade for me. It literally just blends into my skin. There's hardly any blending that I need to do, which is nice, especially when you are when you're working with a foundation that matches your skin tone exactly. Sometimes I have, foundations that are a little lighter, a little bit darker, and they work. But when it matches your skin tone exactly, the beauty in that is that you don't have to use foundation all over the face. You can really just kind of use it where you need it, and it will just blend into your natural skin. Okay, so I've got a nice light layer of that. I'm gonna go in with a little concealer, and I'm gonna build a little more coverage with concealer. This is the Pro Longwear Concealer from MAC, and this is the shade NW25. This is a full coverage concealer. You really only need a tiny bit. I mean, not even a full pump. A full pump of this is gonna be too much for most people. What I recommend is putting it on the back of your hand, taking your finger and just applying a little bit in the inner corner and then kind of softly spreading it underneath the eye. This is a really beautiful, kind of almost like gel-like formula. So it slides and moves really nicely. It's full coverage, but it feels lightweight. I love this concealer. Fun fact, I actually worked at MAC when this product launched back in the early 2000s, I think it was. It is one of my favorite concealers, but it's one that you have to know how to use. If you use too much, you're probably gonna think it's too heavy. When you're trying to get a lot of coverage underneath the eyes, the best way to apply is to use a brush and press into the skin. Don't sweep or pull. That's really going to shear the product out. Not that that's a bad technique, but when you're trying to build coverage, it's going to work against you. If you've got too much product on there and too much coverage and you are trying to lighten it, then by all means use that technique. But when you're trying to get a good coverage, and you will see me doing this for my foundation and concealer most of the time. And the reason why that is because I try and use as little product as possible, but get just the right amount amount of coverage. So I'd rather apply less product and get full coverage than apply a ton of product, but apply it in the wrong way that I'm getting the same amount of coverage, but I've just got more product sitting on my face. Does that make sense? I absolutely love this concealer. It is just so, so good. For brows, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Definer Pencil. Actually, this is called the Brow Lift from Charlotte Tilbury, and I am the shade medium brown. This is probably my third one. This is actually a brand new one. I love when you have a brand new brow pencil. I really, really love this. It's got good pigment payoff. It's got a slight kind of like waxy consistency to it, so it'll lay the hairs down a little bit. I still go back in with a brow gel just to add a little more volume and lay my hairs down. My hair, even though I don't have a lot of them, they're kind of wild. They like to stick out and grow different directions, so I'm just gonna give a little bit of a lift. It has been a couple years since I microbladed, and I'm so tempted to go back and microblade, but my brow lady, the girl who tweezes my brows, she kind of warned me and said that, you know, since I'm in the position where I don't have much hair and I'm trying to grow it, microblading could damage the hair follicle. So I have been avoiding it, but I don't know for certain that's true. I'm not an expert. I'm just sharing what I heard. Okay, so that just gives me, kind of fills them in, gives them some shape. I am gonna go in and use a brow gel to add a little more volume and just kind of perfect everything. And I'm using the Benefit Gimme Brow. Brows are like the one thing that I feel like as a former makeup artist, everyone is very particular about, me including. I've had my makeup done recently for some photo shoots, and even though I love the makeup, the brows are always the thing that I'm like, oh, they're a little too much, or oh, it's just like we're so personal and particular about our brows, aren't we? So I'm gonna go ahead and warm up the face. I've got this bronzer from Christian Dior we're gonna try out. This is the shade Warm Bronze, and this is a new product actually. In fact, the little plastic thing just pulled off. So I love Dior. I've grown to really love Dior beauty over the last year, and I was doing a full face of Dior about a month or so ago, and the bronzer was the one product that I didn't have, so I had to get one. This is a nice shade, not too warm, but not too cool, kind of right a good middle ground of warm and cool. And I'm just using a large powder brush. It's nice because it's picking up pigment, but it's not super pigmented, which for a bronzer is a good thing, because if you work with bronzer that has a lot of pigment right off the bat, it's easy to go in and apply too much on the skin, and then you're kind of working in correction mode, where here you can really build it and layer it. It's really soft. This particular shade has no shimmer or sheen to it. It's just a nice matte bronzer. I like the color. The color's like perfect. I'm just gonna sweep it along my hairline. I'm gonna run a little bit on my nose. Ooh, that's pretty. That really gave a nice warmth to the skin. Okay, next I'm gonna go in and add some cream blush, and I'm using the blush stick from Hourglass. This is the shade Loyal. I am going to use a nice little small angled blush brush, and I'm actually gonna go from the brush to the product. You can certainly go from the product to your skin. The difference is I have a little bit more control when I do it this way versus this way. Very easy to apply more product this way, and I really want to kind of build to see, do I want a little bit of cheek color or do I want to build to get more? So I like to smile, and I basically kind of, you know, start at the apple of my cheek. The first place you put your brush is where the most product is going to deposit. So if you put it up here, that's where the most color is going to come. I want most of the color here, and then I want it to softly fade upward. So I'm moving my hand up and just pressing the brush onto my skin. Okay, that is gorgeous. Beautiful. I'm just all about cream blush. I don't know if I'll ever go back. No, I'm kidding. There are some powder blushes that I still use and love, but cream blushes are just my thing lately. They're so beautiful, like stunning. What I love about them is they really give you that healthy, youthful glow without needing shimmer. You know, I have larger pores on my cheeks. Here I am getting carried away with the blush. I have larger pores on my cheeks, so sometimes a heavy shimmer just magnifies that, but maybe I want a little glow to the cheeks. That's how you get it. You get it from a cream blush without any shimmer. Next, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna set with powder. I don't wanna lose this radiance that I've worked to build. You know, I use the Flawless Filter, I use the Luminous Silk Foundation, so why would I take a powder that just completely cancels all of that? I wanna set everything, but I wanna keep that slight luminosity going, so I'm gonna reach for the Hourglass translucent powder. This is the Mineral Veil, and this is this translucent shade. This is a really nice setting powder. It has just the slightest bit of radiance, so you're really gonna keep the integrity of that radiant finish in the skin, but you're gonna set everything, so it's gonna keep it in place. And I do like to kind of just tap my brush on the lid or even the back of your hand, just so you don't apply too much powder, and I'm just softly pressing onto the skin. I like to set underneath the eyes where the concealer was. This is a pretty large brush for that, but it's gonna work. And then the center of my face. I will set around the cream blush, but I try not to set on top of the cream blush because it'll just kind of minimize that glow that we love. Okay, moving right along to eyes. I'm really excited to share this palette with you guys. I have been loving this palette. I picked it up a few weeks ago, and it's a palette that quite honestly looks like a boring palette. Looks like something you would pass by and never pick up. But I gotta tell you, there is just like, don't underestimate a really good good basic neutral palette. Don't underestimate it. I know you're looking at this thinking, really? Just wait, just wait. First, I'm gonna go and prep my eyes. I'm gonna use some of the MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot, and I'm just gonna use my finger to apply this onto the eye. I'm gonna take it from the lash line, and I'm actually gonna take it up to the brow. This will kind of work as my brow highlight too. You wanna make sure you have a nice even application of this. If you miss any spots, when you go and apply your shadow, it'll skip or stick there and it'll look a little patchy. So make sure you really, shear this out and apply it all over so you have a nice even and sheer layer. Let's get a little bit more underneath the brow. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna work with this, but I also had to pick one of these up. I finally had to cave and get it. These are so beautiful. This is by Charlotte Tilbury. It's called the Hypnotizing Pop Shot. Comes in a few colors. I picked up this shade, which is Smoky Quartz. This is what it looks like. It's highly reflective, just like the perfect holiday shade. So we're gonna add this once I show you the beautiful kind of everyday look that you can get from this palette. All right, you guys, let me grab some eye brushes here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with this lighter matte brown, and we're gonna kind of just press this on the outer corner of the lid and then bring it pretty much to cover the full lid. And I'm using a nice shader brush that's a little bit larger because it'll cover more area and it'll also apply it in a softer manner. I think Charlotte Tilbury truly has some of the best shadows. Every single formula, whether it's matte or shimmer or something metallic or foiled, they all just perform so well. There's very little fallout, if any. They have great pigment payoff, not too much. They're easy to work with. Next, I'm gonna take a blending brush and I'm gonna go into that same shade, but now I'm gonna dip into the deeper brown here. We're gonna blend these two together and we're gonna start here in the outer corner and just kind of get the shadow off the brush onto the eyelid. Once we've done a few little swirls here, then we'll kind of blend into the crease. Now this look is a little bit different. You're not gonna see this like contrast of light on the lid, darker in the crease. You're just gonna see a slight fade of like deeper to a little bit lighter on the lid. Next, I'm gonna take the Trish McAvoy gel liner in black, and we are going to create a line on the outer half of the upper lash line. Don't worry about it being too perfect. It's okay if it's a little messy because we're gonna go and smudge and smoke that out. There you go, I just applied it on the outer half. For my eyes, I have smaller eyes, so if I go too far in, then it completely covers. And because I'm gonna smoke this out, it's actually gonna spread that line across the lid. So even though it's right there, it's gonna move it a bit. And I'm gonna go in with a small little pencil brush. I'm gonna go in with the deepest shade right here and really load it up. I am gonna tap it off because I don't want a lot of fallout. And I'm gonna gently just hold my eye. I'm not gonna tug it, I'm gonna gently just hold it. And we're just gonna kind of run that right on top of that liner, and take your time. This is gonna take a few minutes. Okay, so before I go to the other side, I wanted you to see the comparison. So do you see how it just gives a little bit more smoky effect to the line than just leaving it a little bit harsh? Also gonna take that gel liner and we're gonna tight line the upper lash line. Perfect. I'm gonna go in with the Longwear Cream Shadow Stick from Bobbi Brown, and we are gonna smoke out the lower lash line with this product. This is my favorite shade in the Bobbi Brown Cream Shadow Sticks. It's just so gorgeous. It has a bit of shimmer, so it really gives a soft look to the eye. I'm gonna take the same pencil brush that I was using above, and I'm just gonna kind of run it real softly on top of that. I didn't add any shadow to this, but this still has a little bit of the shadow that we used. Next, we're gonna curl the lashes. And then we're gonna load up mascara. I'm starting first with the Dior Lash Primer. Then we're gonna layer the Dior Iconic Over Curl Mascara. So this is how I Look One looks. Very sophisticated, classic. I feel like this is a good kind of step between more on the like lighter side of makeup and dramatic side. It's like that fine line in between. I love this look. I've been wearing it for a couple of weeks ever since I picked this palette up. I cannot praise this palette enough, you guys. And I just wanted to give it some love because like I said, it's not something that really, grabs your eye like the shimmery, sparkly purples or blues next to it, but this is stunning. Now let's go in and kind of add a little bit of holiday sparkle to this look. So I'm taking the Hypnotizing Pop Shot from Charlotte Tilbury, and we're just gonna kind of just lay this right onto the center of the lid just to give some shine. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh my gosh, so pretty. This just gives that really sultry, soft sparkle to the eye. I love this. If you apply this with your finger, you're gonna get more payoff than if you use a brush. You can certainly use a brush and go in, but even with your finger, it's not so opaque. Like you can still see the shadow eyeshadow underneath it through it, which I love. It's just like the perfect topper shade. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. So, so pretty. These are really fun. I'm gonna go pick up, I think there was like kind of warm champagne one, maybe a rose gold. Oh, I love this. It's so gorgeous. Okay, and then last, let's go ahead and go in with lips. I'm gonna keep the lips kind of lighter just because that's my signature lip anyway, but especially since we have something going on with the eyes. I'm gonna line the lips with the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude Lip Liner, and I slightly overline, slightly. This is a good pencil to slightly overline the lips because it's a very natural lip color. Then I'm gonna go in with the NARS Air Matte Lipstick. This is the shade Shag. This is a really beautiful, like velvety whipped formula. It feels very soft and fluffy on the lips. It also smooths out texture on my lips. Like I noticed that my lip lines are much more blurred and smooth when I wear this. I like to put a little lip balm underneath this. It's also gonna help just keep the lips hydrated. And this is the finished look. What do you think? I kind of love this. So I was so excited to share this palette with you. I picked it up a couple weeks ago, and ever since I used it on day one, I was just like, I cannot wait to film a video with this. So hopefully this video was helpful, showing you guys how you can use this to create kind of a matte everyday look, and then how you can take one fun topper shadow and add and completely transform the look to something glamorous and holiday. I'll have all the products that I used listed in the description box for you down below. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me and spending some of your day with me here on my channel. I appreciate your time, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.